Hey everybody! In this video I wanted to show y'all how I made this pendant out of basically scrap wire. So let's get started. Hey everybody! For this video we'll need a couple of different materials. Right now I'm working with 18 gauge natural toned para wire. It's a copper wire that's covered with a clear enamel so you don't have to worry about it tarnishing or turning your skin green. And I have that in round. And then I also have an 18 gauge half round, also from Parawire. Now, I'm using fresh wire for this, but you could totally get away with using scrap wire. For the tools, I have wire snips, bent nose pliers, and round nose pliers. You could also use nylon jaw pliers, as well as, let me dig out some stuff from over here. If you want to get into doing a little bit of hammering, you can have either a brass and nylon headed hammer, as well as a nice little anvil. If you don't have these things, a regular household hammer and like a, I don't know, block of metal or a piece of like hardwood or something, and a towel would work pretty well. What I would do is put down my hard work surface, put the towel down, put the piece of metal in it, put the towel back over it, and then hit it with the hammer. That does basically the same thing as a nylon jaw hammer. Just do it tentatively and experiment. Yeah, you don't want to go wailing on your final masterpiece just to find out you don't like how it comes out. So we're going to have 7 pieces of wire. The longest one I'm going to have at, let's call it 7 inches, just to give myself a little bit extra to work with. And then we're going to do 2 at 5. So there's 1. And 2. 2 at 4. Yeah, 4. Because we can always trim it down a little bit more later too. There's 1. And 2. And then 2 at 3 inches. There's 1. And there's 2. And there's my doggies freaking out. So from here, we have all of our wires. And you can use your nylon jaw pliers to straighten out your wire like this. I hold it with my bent nose nice and securely, and then just kind of straighten it out, and that gets all the kinks and imperfections out of the wire for the most part. So there's that. I'm going to do this to each of them. Oops, did not mean to hit the tripod. And then here's another one. Just kind of carefully getting the wire as straight as I can. There's that. And I kind of rotate it around a little bit sometimes. That way I'm not just straightening it in the same direction. I find it offers just a little bit more versatility. Or not versatility. By changing the relation between the plier and the wire, it allows, like, it won't just curve it off in one direction. Sorry, I brain farted so hard right there. Okay. So there are those. Now, to do the bail, I'm going to grab a pen. or rather in this case I found this wooden stick. I'll use this, and I'm going to come in and just kind of fold that wire around like that, and I'm leaving myself almost 5 inches. And I'm going to wrap around, if this is the head, the bail, I'm going to wrap around the neck. So there's 1 and 2. And I'm actually going to come in with my bent nose pliers and get this nice and smushed down for on the 3rd. Okay, so there's that. And I'm going to pull that off of the wooden stick. And now that's going to be the bail, like what the necklace chain would slide through. And I'm just going to get my fingernails in there and open it up just a hair so that it looks like that. I'm going to see if we can't zoom in just a little more. See how that kind of sits? And you could leave it pressed together, but I personally really like that flare. And so now I'm going to open up my half round wire and with parawire, the half round is with the flat side kind of on the outside of the circle of the spool. So that's something to keep in mind whenever you're wrapping, but you can just take a close look at it and be able to tell which is the flat side and which is the convex side. And we'll be setting these wires up. That's our middle one, and then 1 on each side, and then 1 on each side of that, and then 1 on each side of that. And so we're going to come through. I'm going to use the tip of my bent nose pliers to make a 90-degree bend. Actually, I'm not sure what the angle would be, but to make a bend in the wire that goes like this, so much further than 90 degrees. And I'm doing that as close to the tip of the pliers as I can. And I'm going to bunch this all up, and again make sure the lengths are in the right position. And I'm just using it, setting it up in my hand to keep everything all nice and flat. Get the dog hair out of there. And then coming in between, there's 6 of them, so I'm getting 3 on each side. Just whoop, just like that. And I'm just going to use my hand to keep everything nice and flat. And I'm going to hook this wire. I'm actually going to go ahead and snip it. It's getting a little cumbersome. Okay. I'm just going to hook it around like this. And I'm going to have this, like you don't want them perfectly lined up with each other. I skewed that one kind of off to the side. And I've got my bent nose pliers again, and I'm just going to kind of wrap around to the back and like bend it down like this and just kind of smush it down snug. So there's one wrap. Now I'm going to fold that around and just kind of continue snugly wrapping these wires. And I think I'm going to do like maybe 10 rotations. Okay, so there's 3, and I'm going to come in with my nylon jaw pliers and smurch it flat, just to keep it kind of nice as we go along. So each time I do a rotation, I'm going to come back in and smush it flat. Again, this whole time trying to keep it nice and snug, so there I've done one, and smush. And then around the back, and smush. Then around the front, and Swoosh. And you could do this as many times as you like if you wanted a longer pendant. But I recommend at least 5 times to give it a nice, solid, secure center. So let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this would make it 9. And that would make it 10. So there's our 10 rotations. That brought us to about, just a hair over 3/16 of an inch. Not 3/16. 7/16. I don't know. Fractions. Sorry, I'm trying to keep track of numbers in my head and it's not working. Okay, so I'm going to fold it around to the back one more time. And this is where I'm going to go ahead and snip it kind of in the midline on each side. So that it looks like that. And I'm going to smush this down. And so from here, see, I kind of want to pull down on some of these on the sides. So I want everything all nice and lined up, at least evenly. So I'm going to start with the outermost or the shortest wires. So you can kind of see how I have them pulled off to the sides. And this one's just a little longer, so I'm actually going to trim that down just like that. I'm going to come in with my round nose pliers. Coming as close to both the tip of the pliers and the tip of the wire as I can. And just starting in a nice, really tight coil. Normally I have a personal inclination to very loose and airy and organic swirls. These ones I went really nice and tight. So, and I'm just, coming in a little bit. That's the noise it makes when you get a little too close to the tip. And just tightening it down. Just like that. And I'm going to go ahead and do this on the other side as well. And so you can see almost all of this motion is happening with like this rotation of my hand. I keep everything else pretty solid, and I use my fingertip here on the back of the wire just to give it something to keep it from building out three-dimensionally. Like I want something that'll be a nice flat pendant. So I'm going to grip here. There we go. And so now from here we can take our nylon jaw pliers. You can use your bent nose or chain nose or flat nose if you like. I prefer the nylon jaw because I know they're not going to be scraping up my wire. And I'm just going to grab it and rotate. And grab and rotate. Oops, did not mean to go off camera there. But yeah, I'm grabbing the spiral and just kind of building it up and in until it comes up to right there like that. I'm going to flip this over. And this is a design that I think I saw in a book like 10 years ago. And then I've just kind of been messing with it and fiddling from there. And I wanted to show y'all how I go about doing it. And then tightening it down just like that. So now I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. There's that one. And then I'm coming up and doing it on the other side. It's a perfect piece for practicing your spirals and getting good and meticulous about building up symmetry. So there's that. And I love the bright, shiny copper for this too. Okay. I'm going to come through and here on the sides we've got the next one in. And it can be handy to have a ruler present so that you can see, okay, this one's exactly 4 inches long. So I want it centered up on the 2-inch mark. So I'm actually going to come in here and grab with my pliers and kind of just pull gently. So you don't want to risk pulling it out of the design. And I want the center of this area here, lined up with this line. So I'm going to pull through just a hair back the other way. And then I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. Kind of eyeballing it, getting it lined up with the other one, and then I'll check against the ruler. Yep. And I'm going to pull both of those kind of out and away from the rest of the body of the piece. Just like that. And now I'm going to come in and just start making some spirals on the tips of these wires. And you could experiment and have the spirals be all different sizes. You could experiment with different spiral shapes. Like if you wanted to make the spirals more leaf shaped, that would look really cool. Like, I mean, it truly is, your creativity is the only limit here. So do whatever you feel inspired to do. Just getting more of these little spirals made just on the tips. So there, it's like that. And I'm going to grip it with my pliers and start cinching in. And once it gets big enough, you can totally get in there with your fingers and start just coiling it down. Just like that. Just grab and twist and grab and twist, kind of building it in, rolling it in on itself really. Same thing on the other side. Sometimes it takes a little bit getting it started, but you'll do fine. And you can also come through and kind of flatten everything down with your pliers a bit more. Now also, I think by having each of the wires be a little bit longer, that makes all of the spirals be almost concentrically larger as it comes out. If you want them to be smaller, we would have started with this center wire would have been 4 inches, and then this one would have been 4 inches as well, and then this last one would have been, again, 4 inches as well. And so I want a little bit of that same, I want to taper down some. So I'm actually going to trim off to the 4-inch mark on either side. Make sure you're cutting the correct wires. And so this way we can experiment with decreasing the size of the spirals. And again, it's really nice to just give yourself some options. You could add a bunch of different kinds of beads and stuff to this. I mean, the potential really is, I think I've already said that, but the potential is limitless. Like, I can't put enough emphasis on that. It's, you know, I don't mind if people, if y'all want to make stuff exactly like how I make it, and then like put it up on your website or sell it out of your booth or just whatever, you know, and you made it. You're the one who bought the tools and materials. You're the one who put in the time. But I really strongly encourage you to put your own spin on it. Do whatever inspires you. You know, don't feel like you can only make it the way that I made it. You know, because this is art. There's no right or wrong way to do it. Yeah, I like that, how it got small, like smaller, larger, smaller. Again, that wire is so shiny. Okay, so then we'll come in up here at the top. You can incorporate beads, I think I had said maybe already. This would look pretty cool if you put in some like coiling and stuff too. Okay. Just still cinching it down. So I mean, it's a very simplistic piece, but it gives you a lot of practice on this kind of basic technique that, you know, I say basic, but you could do some really seriously cool stuff with it. So basic not just in the simplicity, but in that it's a foundation technique. Okay, so you can see here our neck on the veil is really long. So I'm going to grab it by the bottom and just pull it down some until it gets in line with everything else. I'm going to see if I can't bring these ones a little closer together on the sides. I like the simple geometry of it. Like, it's so geometric and just nice. Especially with that little bit of flashing. And then from here what we're going to do is I'm going to use my bent nose pliers to hold this by the stem and bend this off to one side, just like that. I'm going to remove my pliers, measure out 2 finger widths and a hair, snip off that extra little bit, and I'm going to make a spiral to come in, just like that. There we go. And so there we go. And you can leave this as is, or you can get your anvil and your nylon head pliers, or mallet, and just kind of gently hammer. This will help work harden. Oops, gravity. And kind of just get everything to lay where it's going to lay. So there we go. A completed piece. Hey y'all. So I hope that this tutorial was helpful to you. If you're interested in sharing pictures of what you made, there's links down in the video description below to my Facebook. You can like put a picture up on the wall of my Facebook page or just whatever you like. Also, if you guys have any questions, comments, or ideas, or like requests for future videos, please leave a comment down below, like, share, subscribe, thumbs up, all that stuff. If y'all enjoy my free tutorials and would like to support the creation of more of them, please check us out on Patreon. For as little as $1 a month, you can fund the artisan education efforts that we're doing here, as well as participate in my bi-monthly giveaway, get VIP, blah, 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 VIP access to all of my other giveaways across all of the other social media that I try to be competent on. So yeah, I really appreciate all of y'all's support and encouragement and inspiration, constant inspiration. Like, oh my gosh, you guys blow my mind all the time. So I hope y'all have a beautiful day. I hope you have fun making your very own pendant, and I'll see you guys around. Happy crafting. Mwah. Bye.